Well, thanks everybody. So I was told I have the next hour to talk to you about, and I sent a presentation to Paul. I think it's 32 slides. So I'll go very slowly for you, and no, I'll get to the point here. Again, thank you very much for having me. My name's Tim Reboulet, retired Secret Service, 22 years, and part of that I was a police officer in St. Louis. But real quick before I get to my full background, the most important thing when I retired from the Secret Service, my wife said, what are you going to do? Because all you've ever done is served others and protected those that can't protect themselves. What greater mission on this planet than to go into the K-12 schools? So I went to my local school district. I have 3 kids. Actually, they kind of cut off over there. There's actually 2 of them right there. I actually do have 3, 13, 11, and 7. And quite frankly, I wanted to be the guy to protect them. So I became the director of safety and security at Ladue School District. It's a suburb of St. Louis, if you know it. Yeah. And I got really involved in the K-12 space. And having been a Secret Service agent after Columbine, the Secret Service created what is the National Threat Assessment Center, the NTAC. And so I had a lot of involvement in it. And I'm very passionate. I'm no longer at the school district, but I'm so passionate about schools. I'm actually running for school board. So anybody from St. Louis, April 7th, I expect your vote. So you go next. So I got connected, similar to the previous speakers. I think I was talking after Charlie Kirk assassination, and just about how this situation that's preventable. Like everything that we're doing, that individual still should be alive, with prevention. So further conversations, over the last 5 months with Paul and Gabrielle led me here. And by all means, I wouldn't miss it. This is one of the most important things, being proactive. Next, please. And I pose a question to you guys. I mean, I spent a career in law enforcement. Anybody in the room in law enforcement knows the sheepdog, sheep wolf mentality, but I want to share that with you. I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it. Just think about it. Think about it tonight and the next coming weeks. What are you? We have way too many sheep in this world. A bunch of people, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to go. They just follow. The bad people are actually, I've traveled the world, and there are bad people, trust me, but they're not as great as you think, but they cause the most damage and destruction. And we have too few people that are sheepdogs. I'm asking you, and you could change if you may think about it, like, hey, I actually am a sheep, but what can I do to be a sheepdog? And part of it is you're here. You're already doing part of that mission and, donating money to such a profound cause. So never forget this analogy, and it's big in military and law enforcement. Next, please. And this follows up. This has driven me ever since I was 6 years old, watching Ronald Reagan assassination attempt, March 30th, 1981. And I realized, but then I want to be a part of this solution. So I ask everybody in the room too. And again, you're already here, but what else can we do to be a part of this solution? And you'll find out I like quotes. And next, please. Go back. Please go back. I don't want to give away the answer. I want to ask somebody real here. And again, it's not just school shootings, it's mass shootings in general. I don't know about you. I am just, and I've talked to Paul and Gabrielle, and I'm very passionate and animated, and I show a lot of emotion. I'm just sick and tired of every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, another shooting, another police chief, thoughts and prayers. I'm tired of it, absolutely tired of it. I'm actually going to Kansas City next week, and I talked to the priest who I'm talking to the Archdiocese of Kansas City, and I said, Father, quite frankly, prayers without words are just meaningless. And he said, I agree, Tim. You need to get on you put your shoes on and take action. So basically, let me ask you. So can anybody tell me when the first school shooting was on the continent of North America in the United States? Everybody's gonna be wrong. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. 1764. 1764. 262 years later, we're still talking about it. What are we doing? Everybody talks about it. Nobody wants to do the work. Most people say Columbine, which is right here in your backyard. 1764. What was the biggest shooting? Or actually, I hate to be doom and gloom, but the most deaths right here. Nobody talks about it. I mean, we have this problem, and I'll get to. I'm going to share the quote. Like Mark Twain says, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And I'm just tired of the rhyming. I don't know about you, but I'm a until I met Gabrielle and Paul, I kind of felt like I was a one man band just going around talking about this, and nobody wants to learn about the factors and be proactive. Next, please. And again, a lot of this I'm gonna pass over for the sake of time. I'm gonna get cut to the chase here. You keep going, please. So this is very important. Like I mentioned, when I retired from the service, I want to talk about Parkland really quick. Yes, I was a Secret Service agent on February 14th, 2018. I was actually with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. If you don't remember that date, that was the Parkland shooting. February 16th, 2018, they turned to us and they said, hey, we're going down to Parkland. So we got it on the interstate. If you know the area, 95 South, 45 minutes. I'm a human being, but yes, I was tasked to protect the president. I'm in the room with the victims' families. And the question I heard over and over and over again is why? 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 And that had a profound effect on me. So again, going back to Einstein's quote, I want to be a part of the solution. I didn't know what the solution was at the time, but we later on that day, we go to North Broward County Hospital and we see the survivors, victims, kids with gunshot holes. And that had a huge effect on my life. And when I did retire, my wife, like I told you, she said, be a part of the solution here. And that's what I hope to be doing. So go ahead. Next, please. I'm going to save you some. There's my quote right there. So I already said it. Remember that though. All right, next, please. And again, we focus so much on, a lot of things. This is actually, the solution to this is rather simple. And everybody wants to buy the latest and greatest product and whatever it is. It all comes down to training, education of your people, your personnel, whatever it may be. And when I was in the K-12 space talking to teachers, this resonated with them. You got to meet basic physiological needs and safety and security before a kid could split an atom or be the next inventor of something. So we need to make sure that every kid, 52 million American kids in K-12 schools, when they go to school, they have a full belly and they feel safe. Then we could start the learning process. Next, please. And again, a lot of people don't know this, but there was a Secret Service publishing a study just prior to Columbine called the Exceptional Case Study. And it analyzed would-be assassins over the history of the U.S. Secret Service, which was founded in 1865. A lot of history. The same methodology applies to mass shooters and such, and it comes out with the pathway to violence. I did a study, my own study, and in order, 76% of K-12 people across the country, their biggest concern is bullying, then suicide, then substance abuse, vaping, then school shooting. But let's think about this here real quick. Grievance, what's the easiest grievance in a school? Bullying. Bullying. It's simple, guys. It's really simple. You take these kids off the pathway to violence, and before, most kids are here daily. I mean, I'm there with my own kids sometimes, but you take them off the pathway before they get here, and that's when it's too late. But there are answers or there are solutions if people are willing to listen. Next, please. And again, this is important, especially with the National Violence Prevention Hotline. 60% of suicidal individuals become homicidal because they don't have the courage to do it themselves. They figure I'll have death by law enforcement. And key study, I read a lot of the wins for the National Violence Prevention Hotline this past year. Every one of them was an individual that had human interaction with Michelle and her team. That saves lives. And it goes exactly, there was a study of individuals that jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge that survived. And when they jumped, 100% of them said, hey, you know what? I regretted it halfway down. But you know what they said? I stood on that bridge and I told myself, I'm going to wait for the first person to look at me, pay me attention, say, are you okay? And I'm not going to do it. When nobody did that, no human interaction, they jumped. And that's the paramount thing here is the human interaction. Yeah.
with all of the experts we have in the room today, and all of the work that Gabby is doing, why can't we take this to Homeland Security and make it national?
Well, that's a good question, and you guys, I'm trying at my level. I haven't had much success. Maybe with the help as a team, I look at everybody here. We could all be teammates, and we could carry the mission forward and get something done from a federal level. And I agree with you 100%. It needs to be from a federal level. But maybe we talk about it after and devise a plan. And I'd be willing to be a part of that team. You know, we have a lot of good team members in here. Next, please. Yeah. I'm going to jump ahead again. You've been sitting patiently long enough, but I want to jump to communication. The pillars to keep kids safe. I'll just touch on them briefly. And again, it's not rocket science. Securable spaces, communication, standard response protocol, and behavioral threat management. And that's what we did as Secret Service agents. You know, 7,000 plots thwarted last year against protectees. But it goes to communication, and this is what the National Violence Prevention Hotline does. People call, they report. So next. We go. I could talk to you after if you want more, but yeah. So talking to Gabrielle again, like I mentioned, all the above. You know, we appreciate everybody being here and all the donations thus far, but we're gonna get asked for some more here in a minute. But remember, when you raise your paddle, what greater investment can you make than our national treasure? 52 million kids in schools across the greatest country on the planet. What better investment can you make than our national treasure in our future of this country, which are our kids? And to include, I hate to say this selfishly, but 3 of mine, you know, 13, 11, and 7. So I'll stop talking. I know it was over. I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to talk afterwards with anybody that wants to talk. So thanks. Thanks, you too.
That was amazing. First, you could listen to Bomber. You're awesome.